Good Thursday morning, my fellow nerds. Let me give you the nerdy news for today. My name is Troy Stegner, and I'm going to fill you in on all the geeky stuff going on August 16th, 2018. To kick it off, DC Comics and Hasbro had a lawsuit over the name of Bumblebee for their characters. DC they had Bumblebee first for one of their characters. Right now, they're using it for DC Superhero Girls. Pretty popular character with the kids. And I believe everybody knows the Transformers Bumblebee, the VW turned Camaro in the new movies. So, yeah, Hasbro sued them and said that by DC using that name, they could potentially people be confused. Really, one's a big freaking robot and the other's a little girl with wings. So I think they were a little zealous on that lawsuit. I guess it's come to a conclusion. The outcome has not been given. Who did what? Like I said, DC's Bumblebee was created in 1977. The Transformers one was 83. The kicker is Hasbro actually trademarked theirs in 2015. So just in time for the Bumblebee solo movie, they have come to an agreement. The Bumblebee movie will be out December 21st, and DC Superhero Girls is ongoing. So we don't have to worry about lawsuits anymore. Okay, we have Tom Cruise, supposedly the front runner for Green Lantern. Sorry about that, my dogs. Anyway, Tom Cruise is being pegged as the front runner to play Green Lantern. I can't see him being Green Lantern. I don't know how or why they're picking him, but right now he is the front runner. Supposedly the next movie is going to be the Green Lantern Corps, and it's supposedly going to have Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. He'd be playing Hal Jordan, of course. I thought Ryan Reynolds did a good job as Green Lantern. The script wasn't that great. Parallax is not a good villain. I believe Ryan Reynolds got jobbed on that one. So, yeah, we might be seeing Mr. Cruise after the success of Mission Impossible. I guess they've been pegging him to be Green Lantern. Okay, we have some Dynamite Comics cancellations that are coming up. We're going to see the final issues for Barbarella, Deja Thoris, Robots vs. Princesses, and Xena. Those looks like around November timeframe will be the last issue for those guys. They will not be printed anymore unless they bring them back in another title. But for now, kiss those guys goodbye at Dynamite. Call of Duty. I said duty. Call of Duty 2018 championships start today. They had the preliminary rounds, I guess, the 15th and 16th of August. Now today's the 16th, so they will be finishing up that preliminary round. The 17th to the 19th is going to be the final eliminations and the championship match. I believe it's going to be double elimination. The winner is going to get a ring, and believe it or not, there's $1.5 million in prizing for this as part of over the season long. It was a season long championship. They would be giving away $4.2 million. That's a lot for playing a video game. So this is going to be streamed in a couple of places online through Twitch and I believe through the Call of Duty website for their championship. Let's see here. We got mlg.com/Call of Duty or twitch.tv/Call of Duty. For PlayStation 4, the championship will be broadcast Sunday on Twitter via the COD World League. Wow. Get paid big money to play a video game. My mom was wrong. I can have a job doing that. All I have to do is be good at it. Anyway, Joss Whedon had announced, gave some teasers that Fox is going to pull Buffy the Vampire Slayer away from Dark Horse. That's a new thing with Fox. Any projects that they don't have some kind of ownership stake in, they're just letting them go or bringing back the ones that they do own. That's why Lucifer got canned from Fox and Netflix picked it up because Fox didn't have any dog in that fight, so they just didn't want to do it anymore. They let it go. So they're going to be pulling Buffy away from Dark Horse. Buffy has been at Dark Horse for forever. I think they said season 12 is when they're going to pull it from Dark Horse. And I believe it's going to Boom Studios because I think Fox owns a minority share in Boom. They're also going to be giving Firefly over to Boom. And I've been reading rumors that the Dr. Horrible will be coming to Boom to have its own comic. If you haven't seen Dr. Horrible, look it up. It should be on YouTube all over the place online. Really funny. I think they did it during the actors-writers strike. Had Neil Patrick Harris, Nathan Fillion, Felicia Day is Nathan Fillion was the really ignorant superhero, and then Dr. Horrible, played by Neil Patrick Harris, was the villain who couldn't do right. And they were both going for the affection of Felicia Day. It was really well written and acted. Like I said, if you have a chance, watch it. It's all over. It's been out for several years. It's worth a watch. Video games, fans of Spyro the Dragon, guess what? You're getting another game, Spyro Reignited Trilogy. It's going back to Hurricos, which they did the 99 version of Spyro 2, the video game. This game has a lot of the cartoon aspects still to it, like you're playing in a cartoon. Every Spyro game I've played so far has been really good. This one looks just as good looking at the videos for the gameplay. It's going to be coming out on PS4 and Xbox One September 21st of 2018 this year. You don't have long to wait. So if you like Spyro, you'll be very happy. Jason Voorhees. If you don't realize that name, it's Friday 13th, the big bad guy, Friday 13th, hockey mask. That ring a bell? They are making a documentary about the 9th film in that series, the Jason Goes to Hell movie. I guess there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes and building up to this. A lot of weird stuff. Jason Goes to Hell was probably, in my mind, the worst of the Friday 13th movies. The filmmaker who made that is also making this documentary. It's going to be called The Dark Heart of Jason Voorhees, The Making of Final Friday. So they're going to interview a lot of the actors and people who worked on this, making Jason Goes to Hell. Maybe we can find out why it was so bad. It was not a very fitting end to the series, put it that way. So look for that documentary later this year, early 2019. It's in production as we speak. Oh, maybe we have seen the end of this James Gunn drama that's been going on. He was fired, maybe he's not fired, he's coming back, maybe he's not coming back. We're not using a script. Oh yeah, we are using a script. Obviously, he had a meeting, I guess, yesterday with Disney, and they kind of let him know, no, we're not going to bring you back for Guardians of the Galaxy. They may still use his script, and whatever director they bring in to make Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will probably put his tweaks on that script. But that doesn't preclude them from using James Gunn for other movies that they have, because I know that the studios were lined up at his door when they thought Disney was just going to can him completely. They haven't cut that string all the way. They just said they're not going to be using him for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's originally slated to come out in 2020. We don't know how much this new director they bring in will be changing it. So there may be a delay, but I think we can probably still make 2020. We'll see. Spiderman, the game for PS4. They have shown some trailers for it. The graphics, as always, is awesome. It looks almost like a movie. The thing is, you get to see some iconic places around New York City from the comics. along with all the other New York landmarks, you get to see the Sanctum Sanctorum and Avengers Tower. They are featured pretty prominently in the trailer. You'll see J. Jonah Jameson again, but not as a newspaper guy. He's a radio talk show host. And unfortunately, it's not J.K. Simmons. That would be great. This PlayStation 4 game comes out for sale on September 7th, so a little less than a month. You can be playing the new Spider-Man game on PlayStation 4. If you've been watching The Gifted on Fox, I believe it is. Yeah, anyway, The Gifted on TV, I believe it's Fox. We'll just go with that. The dad of the two kids on there, the one who was the, I believe, DA or assistant DA, you find out his family has a long history of mutant powers. His grandfather and grandmother, I guess, had powers. They were part of the Hellfire Club. His dad had some powers, but his dad did some experiments on his son to suppress those powers. So he's had these powers and didn't even know it. Now it's starting to come to light that he has these powers and he's trying to deal with it. You're 30 years old and all of a sudden you get all these powers thrust on you that you don't know anything about or how to use. That should be a good storyline because he was basically in charge of catching the mutants before he found out his kids were mutants and went on the run. So season 2 of Gifted comes back September 25th, 8 p.m. Yep, Fox. It's on Fox. I was right. Looks like it's going to be a really good season 2. Season 1 was good. Can't wait to see what they do with Mr. Strucker's newfound powers. Logan, Wolverine. Nobody can get enough of Wolverine. Now we have 2. The original Wolverine came back, and we still have Old Man Logan in our Marvel continuity. That's going to change. The Marvel announced a 12-part Dead Man Logan limited series. That's right. He's starting to lose his powers. He knows he's dying, so he's wanting to go and tie up all these loose ends. If you read the Old Man Logan story, this isn't spoilers. It's been out for years. Mysterio tricked him into thinking he was fighting a bunch of villains. Then he actually ended up killing all the X-Men, believing he was fighting villains. That's why he went to be a recluse, blah, blah, blah. Read the story. Anyway, he still has a bone to pick with Mysterio for all this. So it looks like he's going to go hunt down Mysterio as one of his loose ends. I don't see a date for this yet. Dead Man Logan #1, written by Ed Brisson, coming out sometime soon because I know they want to kill off all the time displaced X-Men, which is what Extermination is doing for the normal X-Men. I guess this Dead Man Logan is how they're taking care of Wolverine. Send them back to their own time. Don't bring them into my main canon. Don't like that. So Old Man Logan, Dead Man Logan. Live action movie. They cannot get enough of these live action remakes of cartoons. Disney's doing it again. Live action Aladdin remake. That's right. And they're going to have a lot of brand new songs in it, I guess. It's probably going to be more of a musical than a movie. They got songwriters Benji Pasek and Justin Paul, who you probably don't know them by name, but they did a lot of the songs for The Greatest Showman and La La Land. They should have some really. The Aladdin cartoon has some great songs, but they don't want to just make a copy, so they're making brand new songs for it. Live action, directed by Guy Ritchie, scheduled to be released May 24th, 2019. I hope this live action thing is a fad. I'm really not a big fan of it, although some of them were good. I'd just rather they don't mess with the source. Supernatural, season 14. You're going to see the brothers are joined by sisters again. The Wayward Sisters will be back in season 14. They tried to make a spinoff of these guys. They made the pilot, and for some reason they looked at it and they said it just CW said it just wasn't there. There was something missing, so they passed on it. That's the second time they passed on a spinoff from Supernatural. They tried Bloodlines back in 2014, didn't quite work. So they're not canon, those characters altogether. They're going to show up in the normal Supernatural story for season 14. Going to come back CW October 11th. So Supernatural fans, I know there's a lot of you guys out there. You're going to see more of the Wayward Sisters in the next season starting in October. Okay, I told you they were looking at Tom Cruise to be Hal Jordan for Green Lantern. Well, I guess prior to that, around Justice League movie time, they were looking at Mark Wahlberg to be Green Lantern. I mean, I guess he's got the look and everything. It's just, I'm not sure if that accent would lend itself well to Hal Jordan. Hey, how's your mom and him? So luckily, I guess they didn't end up picking him. I believe it was Roven that wanted to cast Marky Mark as a Green Lantern. I mean, he's got the build for it. He's definitely jacked. I can't see him playing that role of Hal Jordan. Please don't let that happen. Like I said, they're still looking at doing the Green Lantern Corps. They got Tom Cruise pegged. It's not 100% sure, but they kind of got him pegged to be Hal Jordan. I haven't heard a word about Jon Stewart yet. Should be a good movie. Green Lanterns are awesome. I just hope they give him a good movie. Speaking of movies, the new Spider-Man, Far From Home. Tom Holland, the king of spoilers and leaks. He put a video up, I believe, on his Instagram. It was supposed to be a joke, saying that, hey, I do all my own stunts on this movie. And in the background, you see his stunt double get hit by a big blast of water. I guess he didn't think that was a spoiler, because what Spider-Man villain uses water like that? Oh, Hydra Man. So we're thinking Hydra Man's probably going to be in the new Spider-Man movie. Thank you again, Tom Holland. The Spider-Man Far From Home is scheduled for release July 5th of 2019. East of West. It's a very popular comic from Image Comics, written by Jonathan Hickman. They have announced that it will be ending at issue 47. I don't see a lot of explanation why, but maybe they just got to the end of the story and they don't want to drag it on. Image Comics is creator owned, so it's not a big corporate decision. If the owner, the creator, wants to end his story, guess what? He ends his story. He owns the character still. It's not like if you work for Marvel or DC and you create a character, it becomes property of Marvel or DC. That isn't the way with Image. You work with Image, they just are basically publishing your story for you. You still retain all rights to that character and those stories. So maybe Hickman just got to the end of his story for East of West and decided he's just going to end it. For whatever reason, issue 47 will be the last for East of West. Okay, spoilers for Batman 53. I'm not going to give you a lot of spoilers, just that the costume changes. He goes back to his, I guess the new costume kind of reminds him too much of Selena. So he decides to go back old school and use the underwear on the outside costume. That's the only real reason they give for it. It's just, I guess he wants a break from that costume because I'm with her. I don't know. He's doing some soul searching, figuring out if he wants to remain being Batman, if he can be happy while he's Batman, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was well written. It's just I don't like the emotional, wishy-washy Batman. Make a decision, stick with it. So yeah, issue 53, you see the old costume come back. Underwear on the outside, just like they did with Superman. It's in the same vein with DC. The DC and Marvel always used to do these awesome holiday special comics. They weren't really canon. They didn't fit in the timeline. They were just like little one-shot, tongue-in-cheek stories, fun stories around the holidays that they would put out. They kind of got away from that recently, but it looks like they're going back to that. DC is planning their holiday special this year. It's going to be the DC Nuclear Winter Special #1. A nuclear warhead goes off, I guess, and they're all kind of sequestered in a fallout shelter. And I believe there are 10 stories in this holiday special with all your favorite DC characters, of course. It's they're touting it as Holiday Meets Holocaust. Comes out November of 2018. I swear I read there was 10 stories in this somewhere. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of your, like I said, your favorite character. DC heroes celebrate the big day after the big one drops. Yeah, lots of writers in here, so I gotta figure there's more than one story. You got the likes of Paul Dini, Steve Orlando, Phil Hester, Mark Russell, among others, and lots of different artwork. So I guess each story has its own artist. Here we go. Yeah, it was 10. Enjoy 10 all new stories featuring world's greatest heroes, including Batman, Superman, Flash, and many more. I loved these holiday ones when they came out. They were always so much fun to read. You didn't have to worry about timelines or continuity. They were just fun holiday stories. So I'm glad to see DC's going back to that. I haven't seen a solicitation for Marvel doing this yet. I hope they follow suit. They typically do whatever one does, the other usually copies. So Marvel will probably be putting one out soon too. Spider-Man. Okay, you see Venom. Spider-Man's got this next movie coming out soon. Venom is in the works, almost done. The next symbiote in popularity, Carnage. They killed him off, I believe, in Venomized. Cletus Cassidy, I guess, got killed off. They are looking at bringing him back. Well, he's coming back in a one-shot for sure. It's called Carnage Born. He's supposedly dead, but there's, just like in real life, there's this cult who worships him because people do dumb things. Anyway, they worship Cletus Cassidy / Carnage, and they, I guess, enough so that they bring him back, at least as Carnage. The cover I'm looking at right now is just a real sick version of Carnage. He is, if you know anything about Carnage, he makes Venom look like a puppy dog. So we can look forward to seeing at least a one-shot for Carnage. If that goes over well, maybe a series. If the Venom movie does well, maybe we'll see a Carnage movie. It should be pretty bloody if they do. All right, ain't no party like a Batman party, because a Batman party don't stop, at least in 2019. They're going to do a year-long Batman celebration for his 80th anniversary. 80 years. Batman has been around for 80 years. It's going to start in 2019, like I said, with the release of Detective Comics 1000. That's a big landmark. They're hitting the 1000th issue. Action Comics did it this year. They had a big thing for Superman hitting 1000. Detective Comics, I got to figure they're going to do the same thing. Probably have a handful of variants, maybe an extra large issue with more than one story in it. They'll probably pull in all their big talent. They haven't really announced yet, so we will see. There's going to be a big build-up to Detective Comics 1000. Batman, or Tom King will still be writing Batman. He's supposedly on for a little over 100 issues. So Tom King says he's got big plans for Batman. I'm waiting to see how this issue 1000 works into that. So all of 2019, you can get your Batman on. He's going to be 80. We'll wish him a big happy birthday. That's a lot of candles on the cake. Marvel, back to Marvel. Their X-Men Black series. A couple of the other X-Men titles I think are going to go away. They're kind of going to consolidate them. They're going to have to, if the time-displaced X-Men go away. One of the titles is focused on them. For this X-Men Black, they're going to do a lot of one-shots. They're doing Magneto, Mojo, Mystique, Juggernaut, and Emma Frost. Now, the one I'm interested in is the X-Men Black Magneto, being written by Chris Claremont. If you're not familiar with Chris Claremont, he had almost like a 20-year run writing X-Men. A lot of the most popular storylines and characters, he either created them or had a big hand in developing them. And then Marvel did, for some reason, they just started paying him to not write. They kept him on contract so he wouldn't go to any of the other competitors. And they kept paying him, but they weren't giving him any work. So he was being paid to sit on his hands. I don't understand why that happened, but with the Colossus Kitty Pryde storyline, I know they brought him in with that and let him write one or two of those stories. It looks like they're starting to give him more work now. Maybe we're going to see Chris Claremont become more of a factor in the X-Men world, because honestly, right now, the X-Men are just all over the place. There's like 3-4 different X-Men titles. They're all disjointed. They need to be brought together with a really good story, and I think Chris Claremont is the man to do that. There will be, like I said, those 5 one-shots I told you. They're going to start coming out weekly in October. So in October, you can see your Chris Claremont X-Men. And there's some other, the other ones are being written by other people, but Chris Claremont's the one who stands out to me. Okay, guys, that is all the nerdy news I have for you today. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, like this video, leave some comments on this video. Tell me if I'm wrong about something. Hey, tell me. I'm not too big to admit it. If you don't like video, you can always pick this up on our podcast, talknerdypodcast.com. You can, if you're an Apple user, you can download it through iTunes. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, and please do leave us a good rating so we get pushed up higher in the ratings for iTunes. And you can, any podcast platform, we should be there. Just look for us. We'd be glad to get you guys subscribe to us on any and all of those platforms. Like I said, that is it for today, August 16th, Thursday. As always, I will see you guys tomorrow. Later, nerds.